What's happening, guys? Joe Clem 15 coming at you again. Here to give you my potential prediction on Pacquiao versus Tim Bradley. Um, I'm sorry, but I got Tim Bradley winning this one. That might be a shock to a lot of the people, but goddamn, why have we not accused this nigga of steroids yet? I'm not saying he's on them, but I've never seen somebody so buff that their abs don't touch. Like, what the fuck? Seriously. Um, in all seriousness, no. Like, when I dissect this fight, uh, it intrigues me because here you have a guy, Pacquiao, in his last fight, did not look good because he was facing a counter puncher. Basically, he was reluctant to reluctant to come inside because obviously he doesn't want to get counterpunched. Um, Tim Bradley's not a counterpuncher, so that's not going to be the reason why Pacquiao's afraid to come inside. I think Pacquiao's going to have trouble coming inside with Tim Bradley's head being right there to meet him. As we all know, Pacquiao's a lefty. As we all know, Tim Bradley is notoriously known for accidentally or inadvertently giving people major headbutts. Devin Alexander had trouble with that. Several other fighters, and I'm not knocking Tim Bradley. I think he's a good all around fighter, but his big ass head just happens to get in the way all the time. And the fact that he's gonna be fighting a southpaw, that's gonna that's not gonna help. Um, Tim Bradley has an extensive amateur background, so he's gonna have a high boxing IQ. Um, his most effective punch is the looping right hand, not the straight right hand, but nonetheless, Pacquiao is vulnerable to right hands. So I think that punch is going to land with consistency. As for Tim Bradley's defense, it's going to be interesting to see the distance in this fight. Um, what makes this fight really interesting is the fact that Tim Bradley is a good pressure fighter who fights well on the inside and wants to be there. But when necessary, he can fight on the outside. Look at the Lamont Peterson fight. Tim Bradley started to outbox Lamont Peterson, who is a boxer, and he started to box him outside from the outside, even though he has shorter arms. At least from what they appear. I really didn't do the measurements, but they look a hell of a lot. They look shorter. But this dude can he's versatile. He can fight coming forward. He can fight going backward. He can fight on the inside, and he can fight on the outside. Pacquiao, as we know, only fights one way, and that's outside in. He dictates when he's going to come in with punches, and he likes to start from the outside, and he doesn't like to stay on the inside. If he's on the inside for more than 3 seconds, it's like 3 seconds in basketball. It's like he calls a whistle on himself. He's in the paint too long, he has to get out. He can't hang on the inside. So realistically, this fight can only Pacquiao has to uh, fight this fight like he did the Hatton fight. But the only problem with that is Tim Bradley has much better defense, much better awareness, and unlike Hatton, Tim Bradley can fight from a distance. Um, Tim has a reasonable jab. It's not a great jab, but I think it's going to be somewhat effective. Um, he has a good left hook to the body, and actually Tim Bradley. The funny thing is his best punch to me is the right hook. His most powerful punch is actually the left hook. In terms of body punches, I don't know how his left hook to the body is, but I think it's going to be super effective if he slips the right jab and goes to the body with the left hook. And I could totally see that happen. Um, that's a counter punch that's going to be probably often used by Tim Bradley. As for Pacquiao, obviously the left hand is key, uh, and really not just the straight left hand, but the uppercut. I haven't really seen somebody catch. I mean, Kendall Holt caught fucking Bradley with a monster left hook, but I haven't really seen anybody just deliver a super clean ass uppercut to Tim Bradley's face. Um, I think that punch would be super effective. Um, Pacquiao does have a good left uppercut, and I do think he can hit it with something you can't see. Bradley has a lot of heart, however, he'll get off the canvas. One thing to consider is that if, like I said, you know, Pacquiao knocks out people uh, through an accumulation of punches, or if he hits you with some shit you don't see. Um, what hurts Tim Bradley in this fight is that he does weird things at weird times. If you watch his fight against oh man, what's that dude's name? Abregu. At some points he was punching with his eyes closed. That's a good way to get hit with something you don't see. He swings wildly sometimes. He gets reckless. You can't swing wildly against Pacquiao. Pacquiao swings wildly too, but he's way better. He's the best at swinging wildly. He's more accurate when he swings wildly, and he's faster. So if Pacquiao catches you with some shit, you're gonna feel it. Um, but I actually think a lot of people will say, well, even if this fight is competitive and it's close, there's no way that they're gonna give Bradley the decision. He's gonna get robbed, just like Marquez did. I don't think so. I think that Bob Arum would be very much in favor for Tim Bradley winning because it automatically sets up a rematch and it automatically uh, gives an excuse or a way out, a way to postpone a potential Mayweather fight in November. Not to mention you have somebody under your promotions who you can now uh, sell as a superstar alongside with Manny Pacquiao and alongside with, oh wait, no, I guess Miguel Cotto is a free agent now. But you know, eventually Pacquiao is going to be done. Bob Arum needs a new face. I wouldn't be surprised if he found that face through Tim Bradley. And if it is a close fight, you might potentially see Tim Bradley get the benefit of the doubt, so that there can be a rematch. You know what I mean? And he can build that up. I do. I mean, I have to think of this from a promoter's perspective because Bob Arum is that kind of a guy. He just is. I'm sorry if you guys like him, or if this isn't about any dislike towards any fighters. I do kind of dislike Bob Arum, but looking at it from a business point of view, and if I had Bob Arum's personality, I would set up Pacquiao with this dangerous fight. You know, it's just I think the way that it's really hard. I've been trying to think about like blueprints on how to beat Bradley. It's not that he's particularly that great, but he's very, very good all around, and his style makes it very. He has a very, very difficult style. Okay, there's fighters that have a difficult style like Sergio Martinez and Winky Wright, but they're very beatable. They have holes. Tim Bradley, is he makes some stupid mistakes, but overall, again, he's a good boxing IQ. He has tremendous stamina. He can fight inside and out. Um, he has a lot of heart. He's tenacious, and he tries to take your heart away. It's a tough fight. It's another thing. Don't expect anybody to fade. Usually, Pacquiao has the upper hand when it comes to stamina. There is going to be no upper hand when it comes to stamina. In fact, I've never seen Tim Bradley get tired. I've never seen Tim Bradley get tired. He might be one of the most well-conditioned athletes um, out there. He's definitely the most cut. I challenge anybody to find a more cut. I mean, it has nothing to do with it, but goddamn, I do this. Marvin Hagler, I thought was like the buffest of all time, but Tim Bradley, man, I don't know what his regiment is, but shit. Anyway, not to go off on a tangent, you guys could tell me what you guys think. I would take Tim Bradley by decision, man. There'd be rounds where Pacquiao's gonna be throwing a lot of punches, but I see Tim Bradley being the kind of fighter who knows how to slip. He's gonna have very, very, very fast feet. He's not gonna be Tim Bradley's not flat-footed. He's a pressure fighter. He can come forward, but unlike Cotto, Margarito, David Diaz, what have you, this dude has fast feet, and he's gonna be on his toes. He's gonna be slipping left, right, duck under, slip left. When necessary, he's going to take the step back. And if you're watching, it's a copycat game. There's no way that a camp's not going to look at the Marquez fight and figure out that, oh, he is a fighter. Yeah, he is Pacquiao as a fighter has trouble when opponents take that back foot and drop back a step. Pacquiao doesn't like that. He gets countered. I'm not saying that Tim Bradley's going to have the same success as Marquez did as a counterpuncher, but he can counterpunch. Every boxer can counterpunch. Once you exceed a certain amount, you become exceptional on it. You can be called a counterpuncher. But I've seen Tim Bradley counterpunch with good right hands and good body punches. So you know, the only punch I can see being effective really is that left hand. But I do think Tim Bradley makes adjustments very well. So it's not going to be a dominant left hand all night. Um, Also, I think if there's one thing that somebody needs to do besides an uppercut to Bradley, like I said before, the one thing I hardly see people do is go to his body. I think Tim Bradley has to be broken down at the body um, to take his will away. It's very hard to break his boxing spirit. No matter whether you love him or hate him, he comes to fight. He has a lot of heart, and his fighting spirit is just as high as anybody else's. Uh, that's pretty much all I got to say about this potential matchup. Sorry if it doesn't happen, but if it does happen, here's my prediction. If it doesn't, this is what would have happened. I got Bradley by close unanimous or split decision. Peace.